My name is Ricky Cecchini, VP of Product at Cloud Radial. I think shadow IT can take on a lot of forms. To me, I think the simplest explanation is just things that you don't know that are going on, and it's something to address, something certainly to identify, and it's something that I think a lot of people do a really bad job of making sure they talk to their clients about and making sure that the layman understands what it means. I think that MSPs have a challenge in almost too many tools at this point, and they need to understand what is really critical. And to understand that, it's really about what sells, what's the point of selling it, right? Who's buying it, why are they buying it, and does it make sense together in a stack? So I think if they can figure that out, if they understand why to put things together and how to package them in a way that actually makes sense and is greater than their sum, they fill in with their intellectual property, that's what we're going to see. We're going to see what we talk about a lot internally at our company of orchestration, which is basically you take the concept of all these things, it's no longer about the management, it's no longer about the acquisition of them, it's about how do you put really complex stuff into play in a way that makes sense to the business. Again, I'm biased towards the client thing, but I really think it is talk to their clients, because I think that a lot of times MSPs are a little overzealous, right? They go and they purchase a lot of security products, and they're all very good. Like, don't get me wrong, I think they're necessary, but I think understanding what exactly they're trying to secure and better having that idea of that landscape and making sure that they're fitting a need is super critical. Cloud Radial helps MSPs bridge that gap and have that conversation. Super relevant. I think you just need a platform to be able to have that conversation, have those conversations to make sure that we understand what are we using, what are we not using, and why are we using those things. Augmentt is very special as far as our integrations because not a lot of partners of ours are able to present their value so readily as Augmentt. What we see is that because Augmentt is able to pull in the SaaS apps and the regular layperson can understand very easily what's happening there and they want to see that, it's kind of a great hybrid. So we come in, we want to show them what they're doing, what they could be doing. Augmentt is literally showing them what they have available and who's using what, and that makes for a great experience. The clients want to engage more with the MSPs get to show them more, and I think that starts great conversations that lead to more profit. We think so, 100%. I think that more and more we're seeing hardware become a minor component and SaaS becoming the major component. I mean, we're seeing, again, shifts in the market with the people that we work with, the people that we want to work with, the people that are developing new apps. It's all going SaaS-based because, again, it's faster management, more scalable, more useful, and typically more affordable, which means that smaller businesses can get up and running faster, MSPs can support different types. So I think SaaS isn't going anywhere, and I think it'll accelerate even harder these next coming years. I think that what we're seeing a lot of is they want to interact more with them because they realize that things are very hard. The more technology becomes a part of businesses, the more apparent it is that they need help. So when we look at our statistics of what people are into, again, that collaborative thing, we see a lot of training. Training, specifically security training, has been really huge, right? Turnover in businesses is hard. If you can get people trained up on security, that's obviously massive. That conversation leads people to ask, like, well, is it effective, right? I can train, I can start to put these things out there. How do I track and see if people are actually picking up what we're learning? So again, when we start to understand it, right, making security readily available, making it understandable to the layperson, but with depth behind it so you can actually see those things that are powering that security, that's huge, right? And focusing those conversations is the core of business reviews and QBRs, which more and more MSPs are turning to do. And I think it just makes sense naturally to evolve that way, to have security be a part of the general conversation. Microsoft is one of those very, very complex things that seems simple, right? Again, the average person thinks that Microsoft is just buy a license, turn it on, and then we're done. And then obviously the MSPs understand the depth there. So in our platform, we do our utmost to show how many moving parts there are to it. Again, you've got licenses, different SKUs, you've got MFA information that varies, right? Enforced versus enabled. There's so many different components to it that are very, very difficult to track and understand. So yeah, we're finding that, again, your emerging MSPs, the ones that are just starting out, find Microsoft to be a great value add, find something that they can show and prove their value. And the enterprise level ones, again, are dealing with massive infrastructures between Active Directory and Office 365 and maybe even on-prem stuff. It's really hard to track up. So I think having that Microsoft reporting and having that conversation has been pivotal to show the value. Well, I've thought about this question a lot ever since I was a boy, and it's tough, but I gotta give it to the grizzly, just because the silverback is pure muscle. It's a pounding force. In Dungeons & Dragons, that would be bludgeoning damage. The bear also has that power. However, he's got claws on all fours, so I think that if the bear simply balls up and sticks it out, there's no chance.
But would you not argue, though, that with the gorilla with that bludgeoning damage also has a higher dexterity score, and so may get to the bear first?
That's true, and I would also think that the constitution is probably pretty similar. However, I believe in 5th edition they're both large creatures, and it's a toss-up, you know. I'd really have to roll the dice on it. Probably a couple of d20s, d8 to hit. No, d20 to hit, sorry. I'm sorry. d8 for damage, please forgive me.
But going in Grizzly for the win?
I'm all in Grizzly, you know. I think the gorilla could win in a good day, but 7 out of 10 times that Grizzly's got it.
Thanks for your time, Ricky.